Welcome to the course Design of Reinforced Concrete Structure. Myself S. Kranti Vijaya, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, Vigyan Institute of Information Technology, Duvada. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss regarding what is meant by bond, what is development length, and what is anchorage for reinforcement bars, and the IS code recommendations for development length. So first let us start with what is bond. So in the assumptions of RCC, the most important assumption what we have made is that there is a perfect bond between the concrete and steel. So what is the most important assumption made in the theory of RCC? That there is a perfect bond between the two materials, that is the concrete as well as the steel. So what is meant by the perfect bond? So first let us see what is meant by bond. So bonding is nothing but the adhesion between the concrete and steel which resists the slipping of steel bar from the concrete. So what if if the steel is embedded in the concrete, so what it will have? It will have an adhesion, that is both the materials steel and the concrete will have adhesion. Okay, so that adhesion, what it will resist the slipping of steel bar from the concrete. So that particular adhesion is called as the bond. So what this bond is meant for? So this bond helps in transferring the stresses from steel to concrete and concrete to steel. So that due to this, what is happening? The composite action of concrete and steel is being provided, isn't it or not? So so due to this bond, what is happening? The transferring of the stresses is happening in between both the materials, that is the concrete and steel as well as the steel and the concrete. So due to that, what is happening? The composite action of both the materials, that is the concrete and steel, is being provided. Okay. Generally, how this bond happens or how this bond develops? The bond develops due to setting of concrete on drying, which results in gripping of steel bars. So what? When we are casting, what we'll do? First we'll provide the reinforcement and we will pour the concrete. So during pouring of the concrete, so what happens? After a certain period of time, it starts setting and it starts drying. So after setting and drying, what happens? It results in the gripping of the steel bars, that is it will grip the steel bars. So this is how the bond between the concrete and steel is developed. So due to the bond only the failure, or so if the bond is good, then only the concrete as well as steel can act as a composite member, isn't it or not? If the bond is proper, then only the two materials can transfer the stresses to each other. So that is the reason why the bond is very important in RCC members. Now we'll see what is meant by the development length and the concept of bond and development length. So to know the concept of bond and development length, let us consider a steel bar which is embedded in the concrete. So here you can see this is the steel bar which is embedded in the concrete. So if this particular steel bar, a tensile force T is applied on it, what it will happen? This particular bar, it will try to come out of this concrete, isn't it or not? So at that time what happens? at the contact surface of the steel bar and the concrete, the shear stresses are going to be developed, and those stresses are called as the bond stresses, and these bond stresses will prevent the bar from slipping out of the concrete. So what these bond stresses are denoted by tau BD. So what is the bond stress? The bond stress is the shear stress which are developed along the contact surface between the reinforcing steel and the surrounding concrete. So between the reinforcing steel and the surrounding concrete at the contact surface, these bond stresses are developed, and these bond stresses, they helps in preventing the bar from slipping out of the concrete. So what is happening here? So this particular bar is embedded in the concrete to a certain length, is it or not? So if the certain length is less, what it will happen? The contact, the surface contact, that is the bond stress also will be less. Due to that, what happens? Due to the tensile force, the bar will come out, isn't or not? So the bar, it should be embedded into the concrete to a minimum length, so that the reinforcement will not come out due to the tensile force applied on it. So that particular minimum length which has to be embedded into the concrete, that is the length of the steel bar which has to be embedded into the concrete, so that the bar will not come out. So that length is called as the development length. So that length is called as what? It is called as the development length. Development length, the development length is the minimum length of the bar which must be embedded in the concrete beyond any section to develop its full strength. So to develop the strength, so what is the minimum length of the bar which has to be embedded into the concrete beyond the section, so that it will develop full strength and the bar doesn't come out of the concrete. So that minimum length is called as the development length. So this development length is sometimes also called as anchorage length in cases of axial tension or axial compression, and development length in case of flexural tension and flexural compression. So it is named also as anchorage length when in the cases of axial tension or axial compression, and in flexural tension and flexural compression, it is named as the development length. Now let us see where we have to provide the development length. So generally, if you see here, this is our column and this is our beam. So in the design of beam, what we will do? We will design the main reinforcement. This is the main reinforcement, that is the longitudinal reinforcement, and these are the vertical stirrups. So for this particular beam section only, what we have designed the reinforcement and we have placed the reinforcement. So here it is what? This part is the beam column joint, isn't it or not? So if reinforcement is provided only for this particular section, okay, what it will happen if some load is acting on this particular beam? What this beam, that is this particular joint, at this particular joint, the beam, it tries to pull down, isn't it or not? So that what happens? This particular beam will fail at this particular joint. And in some cases, what it will happen? The bars will spill out of the concrete and you can see cracks. There will be no breakage of the bars, but the bars will bend and they come out of the concrete. So if when the reinforcement, if it is provided only within this particular beam section, So there comes the role of the development length. So if you'll see this particular case, here what we can see, the longitudinal reinforcement, okay, it is provided the extra length, isn't it or not? So the length of the steel bar, okay, it is embedded into the column joint also. So here you can see this longitudinal reinforcement, here also it is embedded into this, isn't it or not? So what they are providing here? So they are providing the extra length for this longitudinal reinforcement. So this length which is embedded into the column, so that what, a good bond will be established, that is a good bond strength will be established between the concrete and the steel. Okay, so that particular length is called as the development length. So where do we provide the development length? The development length is provided in column beam joints, and they are also provided in column footing joints. So at column footing joints and column beam joints, the development lengths are provided. So as the development length is provided here, even though on the action of loads, this particular beam will resist as the length it is embedded into the joint here. So this particular length is called as the development length. So here what, the length of the steel bar, it is needed to be embedded into the column to establish the desired bond strength between the concrete and the steel. So for the designed bond strength between the concrete and the steel, what we have to do? We have to extend the length of the main reinforcement, and that particular reinforcement has to be embedded into the column. So if it is a column footing joints, it has to be from the column, the longitudinal reinforcement has to be embedded into the footing. So this particular length from this part to this is called as the development length. Now what is the significance of development length? It creates a safe bond between bar surface and the concrete, isn't it or not? So due to the development length, there will be a safe bond between the concrete surface and the steel. And the next significance is reinforcement bars should not slip through the concrete. So due to a proper development length, what, the reinforcement bar will not slip through the concrete, that is they will not come out of the concrete. And due to this, what, they transfer stresses from the beams to the columns safely and smoothly. So if you see this particular diagram, so this is the column and this is the beam. This is a beam column joint. So these are the longitudinal bars which are being embedded into the column. So this is going to be our development length. So due to this, what happens? All the loads and the stresses are being safely transferred from the beam to the column. So this is the significance of development length. Now let us see the anchorage for reinforcement bars. So what is meant by anchorage for reinforcement bars? So the development length of the bars, okay, it is sometimes provided in the form of straight bars, or in some cases it is also provided, okay, partially straight and partially hooked. So in the sense it is what, if suppose let us take the example of a beam here, and if this is the support, okay, so if this is the main reinforcement, if the development length what which has to be provided here, okay, if the space is not sufficient, okay, if it is less, then what we will do is we are going to either bend the bar, okay, either we are going to bend the bar or either we are going to bend the bar like this. So this is called as a hook. If the bar is bent like this, it is a bent bar, and If it is bent like this to 180 degrees, then it is a hook. So this is to 90 degrees. So this particular bending of the bar is called as anchorage. Okay, so the anchorage is generally it is provided in the form of bends and hooks. So this is a bend and this is the hook. So this is how the anchorage is provided for reinforcement bars. So now let us see what are the IS codal recommendations for development length. So now what? Previously we have seen the development length. So how we have to calculate the development length? The IS code has given an equation for calculating the development length, and the development length is denoted by LD, and the development length is calculated by using this equation, where phi is nothing but the nominal diameter of the bar and sigma is nothing but the stresses in the bar, which is generally taken as 0.87 Fy divided by 4 tau BD. So tau BD here is nothing but the design bond stress. So what the development length is calculated by using this. So how we'll calculate the tau BD? So the tau BD is given in clause 26.2.1.1. Now let us see how to calculate the design bond stress tau BD. So the design bond stress, that is the tau BD values are taken from this particular table, and it depends upon the grade of the concrete. So these values of tau BD in Newton per mm square for different grades of concrete is applicable only for the plain bars. That is plain bars in the sense for Fe 250 grade mild steel bars only these values are applicable. If suppose we are using the deformed bars, that is if HYSD bars are used, then what we have to do is the tau BD values has to be increased by 60%. So for these particular values, a 60% of extra value has to be taken as a tau BD value when you are using the HYSD bars. So if for bars in the compression, this tau BD values has to be increased by 25% than these values. For these values you have to add 25% extra if the bars are in compression. So this is how we have to calculate the development length. So every time when we will design for the development length, what we have to do is we have to go for a check for the development length. So how we have to check for the development length? Let's see the equation. So the check for the development length has to be done by using this particular equation. So the equation here is m1 by v plus L0. So m1 is nothing but the moment of resistance of that particular section. V here is going to be our shear force, and L0 is going to be the anchorage length. Now let us see how we have to provide the anchorage length L0. So the anchorage bars in tension. So if we are using the HYSD bars, there is no need of providing the anchorage if a sufficient development length is provided. Okay, but if we want to provide the anchorage length that is other than HYSD bars for the plain bars, we have to provide the anchorage length in the form of bends and hooks. So for the bends, okay, the anchorage value of bend is taken as 4 times the diameter of the bar for each 45 degrees bend. That is, for suppose if this is the development length, so for each 45 degrees, okay, what? For 45 degrees you have to take it as 4 pi. Pi in the sense is the diameter of the bar. If you are increasing it again to 45 degrees, this angle will be 90 degrees, and for this it will be 8 and this is called as the bend. And for the hook, the angle is 180 degrees and the anchorage value you have to take it as 16 phi. So the maximum you have to take it up to 16.5, that is the 16 times the diameter of the bar. So the development length LD, it should be always less than the formula what we have seen, that is m1 by v plus L0. If that check is not satisfied, either we have to increase the anchorage length by using the hooks or bends. Thank you.